won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You bet.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money. Happy Monday to one and all. It is February 16th. Apologize for the delay. Had to get this Twitter thing right. I see them boys at Twitter are having problems with their live posting, so that made sense. We were talking about that last week on top of the many things we've been on top of. But I'm fired up to talk to you guys today about the new week ahead. The schedule is laid out with one exception. There's a pretty big hockey game taking place on Thursday. Excuse me. So I'm going to see if I can be back and ready to go. The cap is finally ready for my crown. And hopefully I'm back and good to attack here. I don't know, though. Let's see. Actually, good news. Yeah, Wednesday, 3:10 p.m. is probably the only spot that will be added to the, well, I shouldn't say that. But I do like a live stream for you guys on Wednesday, and we had a lot of fun yesterday. I was excited to get involved. Olympic hockey is my favorite thing. I love watching it. I love seeing the players. I love seeing the personalities. I like seeing the difference in style of hockey. And yesterday was a lot of fun. 3 p.m. we popped off. Several of you were there to check it out with us, so we will be doing that again this Wednesday at 3 p.m. I don't care if it's just me. I'll be on screen with you guys looking to talk some puck, make some bets. And speaking of making some bets, I know the fellas were betting on golf. We were talking NASCAR, got a couple winners in the NASCAR side of things, and more importantly, busted up the NBA All-Star game. So started off, didn't think it was going to be something I would cap. Finished off not only getting a couple of early contests, but the outright winner at plus 265. The biggest dog on the card were the NBA stars, and they came through and got the job done. So shout out to me, frankly. A good example of how to cap. Numbers. To me, it's about numbers. And this is where I think the success factors lie, because it's not so personal. It's not so emotional. And just looking at it, we had to figure out what the format was. We had to see what the teams were. We had to see how often they played. We had to look at the rules. Then we looked at the cap and the spreads, and then we fired. And we got it done. That is why we don't pass any day. We look at it, and it is all the same. You look at spots. You look at the sports. You look at the angle. Now, it doesn't mean you bet on every game. But if you're capping and you're rolling your sleeves up and you're not taking shortcuts, you should be able to fire on plays every single day. And look, I say that with no joke here. I started off early today. I took a little bit of an L. I took a lump, as it were, with Southeast Louisiana, of all spaces. It happens. You give me a 1 p.m. game. I didn't get it great. Listen, it was a bad cap. And that's going to happen. But we're not playing games here. We're keeping it real. We're showing you guys over the course of the long haul. Look, we just finished off a 42-unit NFL football season. We don't pass. We play. We're here to fire away and give you guys an opportunity to get that hay, man. That's what we're here to do tonight. Now, listen, I'm live betting here. I got South Carolina State 38-37 right now. I'm on South Carolina State side of things at -4.5. So I'm going to keep my eyes going on that side of things here. We're going to talk some Olympic hockey that's in place for tomorrow. The prelims, the quarterfinals will take place. So I will give you some plays in those spots that I'm going to get involved with here. Frankly, I saw one play that I parlayed. It's not sexy, but it's -130, and I just don't see any other way. So shout out to them Team USA gals. was it 5 straight shutouts now? Man, oh man, they are busting teams up, and it's fun to see. Full paradigm shift. The USA women's team, best in the world. I don't care if they win or lose the gold medal. I know that you'll say, well, if they don't win the gold, how could they be the best? But I think it's still big time for this team, USA women's. I like that Taylor. Is it Heineke? Heineke? She caught my eye. She caught my lure. I'm going to talk to you guys about some Morgan State, North Carolina Central, Syracuse, and Duke's. A pretty big game for the ACC. New Orleans and Incarnate Word is going to make my betting card tonight. Drexel and Stony Brook. One of the best bounce back spots on the board in college hoops. Then we've got Southern versus Texas Southern. Who knew that was going to make the card here tonight? And the big game, the Houston versus Iowa State, 9 p.m. Big 12 battle, number 3 versus number 6. All going down here on Pregaming tonight, the spot where you put it all together, right? We look at this, we marinate on the game all day, the card. We look at line, cash flow, splits, player props, weather reports, any other analysis that is most important for us to put together a game plan to make an informed betting decision. And so that is what we're here to do tonight. Let's see. Friday the 13th was good to us. Sounds weird to say that. Here on the show, we got the Yale minus 9.5. We got the under 144.5 in Quinnipiac in Siena. We got Brown plus 7.5 against Harvard. Iona minus 4.5 gets the job done against Canisius. The St. Louis game goes under the total, 155.5. And then Michigan State, sadly, was the only loss on the card. And you know what's funny is I said this to you guys on the show. And I know we shouldn't get involved with shitless teams and banned lists and all that other nonsense here, but what did I say to you guys on the show? I didn't want to get involved in the total on this Michigan State game, right? In fact, I said I was leaning to the under because what makes me scared about betting Michigan State spots is needing to count on them 4 points when it matters. And if you translate that, they shit the bed. They lost by 21 to Wisconsin. When they needed points, it didn't matter. Now, if you're not checking out the best goddamn college basketball betting the board show on Saturday, I don't know what you're doing. Here's the thing about this. You get 2 guys that come in here betting college basketball every single day. You get Mickey Mac Daddy and myself. Not a bunch of frills and fluff and dudes popping in, from the fucking beach telling you this is their play for the day and it's only one. Bullshit. Let me see your card. Let me see what you can do. Because we popped off 14-5 on 19 college basketball games, and I gave them to you throughout the course of the day on Saturday. So if you weren't able to make money on Saturday, I don't know what to tell you. Now listen, we're a weather vane. We're just another litmus test for kind of which direction things are flowing. But when you get the trends, you get the cash flow splits, you get the reasoning behind how we derived at the spots that we got to, nobody does it better. And bear in mind, a year ago, they were sitting there saying on Twitter publicly, if you share with them how to cap, they don't need you. Okay, you big dummy. But at the same time, we all want to get better. And so if there's flaws in the wisdom or logic, then we need to know that. But we also want to help everybody figure out how to fire so that we're all firing and nothing falls through the cracks and we can maximize our bankroll. So that's what we're here to do today. It was a really good card, really good day. I'm a little disappointed yesterday with my hockey side of things here, just full disclosure. I don't like starting off the week with a loss either. So, I guess I should have trusted my gut, right? Like I thought that Germany USA game yesterday, I just thought under and somehow I got to the over and should have known better. So I'm a little disappointed. I mean, 2 3-1 games for Germany, and it's a big pressure-filled situation against the Team USA team. Of course, you're just trying not to get blown out of the gym or the arena or the rink, as the case may be. So, Murray State let me down for a college basketball Sunday afternoon as well. Them fuckers were up like 18 points in the second half, and they lost by like 18 points. So it's all good. we're going to get after it, you guys. So I am excited to share some college hockey with you. I'm excited to share some college basketball with you. And I don't know. Is there anything else to share? Is there anything else to talk about? Well, I'm sure we can find a couple of things. It sounds like A.J. Brown does officially want out of the PHL. He hasn't decided where he wants to go yet, but it ain't in Philly anymore. Also, I hope he's listening, because there was a big controversial moment, a big eruption, as it was, talking about how I said during a live stream for college or for the NFL, everybody hates on Philly. The most hated team in the game. Everybody hates on this Philadelphia Eagles team. And it was told incessantly, these fans are the reason that this is terrible. Listen, I love them. But I do want to point out that they did a vote, which is amazing, that they could vote on this. And the most hated quarterback in the NFL, by far, Jalen Hurts. And not only is he the most hated quarterback in the league, but he's the only time a top 5 quarterback has ever been voted as most hated guy in the NFL. So I might only need one source, but I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one a little bit. I laughed when I saw it, but it's all fun. You know, it's like recapping whether you win or lose, right? We want to put that out there and then get an opportunity when we can circle back and say yay or nay. But listen, this is a busy week, so we're going to kick the week off here. Ramon Scott and VB MMA picks are kicking off with the UFC card. We did things a little different. We opted to do things differently, frankly, because look, the views just was redundant. We have some of the best guys in the world capping the UFC on this channel. And then we were, getting 75 to 100 views. So we scrapped it. We're going to talk about main event and co-mains later in this week. You'll get a quick breakdown from MMA Jeff. But we're results-oriented business, much like you guys wouldn't tune in here if we couldn't provide winners. We're not going to put the content out there if we're not getting the views. So it's super important that you guys look at this as an opportunity to say, hey, let me reflect. Am I smashing the like button? Am I doing my part to help continue to grow this community? Because grow it, we want to. We are looking to continue to find new eyeballs. We've been doing that via the Instagram side. Happy to say we're in the triple-digit spot. But if you haven't done so already, hey, I'm talking to you. Get out there and hit that thumbs up button. And let's get back to work so we can get that cash together collectively as a community. All right, so we got the VB MMA picks, Ramon Scott UFC breakdown for Strickland versus Hernandez down in Houston. It's a UFC Fight Night card that starts on Saturday at 5 p.m. So we will, of course, be live around 4:45 p.m. on Saturday, which means Saturday slate's loading up. 9 a.m., you get the very first look to see where the cash is coming in out of Las Vegas. I told you there's 3 critical movements when it comes to the marketplace and it comes to betting these games, especially if you're going to look at the Steam and the Sharps and the consensus betting here. First and foremost, they put those lines out overnight with limits. The books don't want to get roasted by consortiums and conglomerates, so they come out there and they put those numbers out there. And so when you wake up in the morning and Ramon Scott's on there at 9 a.m., you get to see what happened when they set those lines up with limits. Then 12 p.m. rolls around. And typically that is when they roll the limits off. That is when you start to see where some of the true bigger bettors and sharp bettors are coming in. Are they trying to middle numbers based on the moves they took overnight? Then you get that last minute movement right before puck drop, tip off, ball kick, whatever the case may be. And so we try to bucket all 3 of those together. You get the morning steam. You get Saturday. You get the betting the board with Miggity Mac and I. Then you get pre-gaming here at 6 p.m. So it's very strategic in the way that we look at those numbers. But Saturday morning, you'll get 9 a.m. You'll get 11 a.m. You'll get 4:45 p.m. for the UFC, and we'll go all night till it's done. 7 hours or so is what the UFC cards tend to turn into for us. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, on top of that, look, all week long, we got content flowing in here. You guys will see the 9 a.m. show. You'll get the 6 p.m. show. You're going to get some hockey on Wednesday, from yours truly and see if I can have some guests join me along the way. We'll post out some main and co-main stuff over Friday, probably for the weekend. We'll talk some more NBA, college basketball, hockey, the whole smash, the whole gamut, everything that you need to know when it comes to sports betting. And of course, we're not going to miss out on this Olympic opportunity. So that being said, let's get to it, you guys. Make sure you get your plays in the chat. You know I like to shout them out. It's my favorite segment. I like to see what you guys are on here. I see Blake M is checking in, as well as Nicholas Handy. Andrew K shouting out the USA women's team. Nicholas Handy. MLB spring trainer hats dropped today. Training hats. M the Great's here. What's up, M the Great? Shout out to PWR Critter. Joseph Myers says, in the words of Sports Money Network friend Razor, cheers. Shot time. AJ's in the house. Peter Gracia says, happy President's Day. It sure is happy President's Day. Joseph Myers says, has the line come out for the gold medal match yet? The U.S. dusted them in the prelims. I'm assuming you're talking about the Canadian and American gals. Is gals a derogatory term? It's not meant to be. Let's see. I'm looking. And the answer is no. I haven't seen them yet. So we will keep our eyes on that. Jay Main says, yo, what up, gang? Shout out to Blake M. Boston Moneyline looking good at the moment. Andrew K says Iowa State's 14-0 at home. Jay Main likes the Long Island team total over. Andrew K says Iowa State's 47-2. Last 3 years at home, people. We're going to talk about it. Nine Legacy says paid in full parlay of the day. And he's got Norfolk State, Incarnate Word, Marshall, Nichols State on spread, but he bet Houston money line. Syracuse plus 19.5. I got to play for you guys in that Syracuse game. Jay Main says, what you thinking about this Mississippi Valley game? Excuse me. I bet Mississippi Valley the other day, and I was able to catch a victory. I would lean to him again tonight. I mean, you can't be bad forever. Here's the thing about that game. Alabama State's rolling an under train right now. They got a 15-0 under. When they've got a total under 155.5, they've got less than 5 days rest, and they had more than 10 assists the previous game out there. Alabama State rolls 15-0 to the under. So because of that, contrary to when people think dogs and overs, I think if it's going to be, how badly can Mississippi Valley perform against Alabama State? Is it going to be that bad? I kind of looked at that and thought I'll roll up on, I'd roll up on Mississippi Valley, but I like the under. So there you go. DJ Hardy. He likes Marshall over 150.5. Joseph Myers says, win together, man. A rising tide lifts all boats. I agree, brother. That's the best way to say it. A rising tide lifts all boats. And that's why we share. I give you guys the secret sauce. I don't care. Not one of those pussies that's scared that if you guys figure out how I capped Mississippi Valley to win a game that you're going to stop watching. Hell no. Because you know what? If I only have 2 or 3 tricks up my sleeve, and I say tricks, I mean it. I don't mean it literally, right? Figuratively. If I only have 2 or 3 tricks up my sleeve, what I'm afraid I'm going to do is be exposed as a fraud, right? And that's what some people get scared about is like, oh, I can only cap a certain way. And once I share those couple of spots with you guys, you no longer need to see me because I don't have any other tricks up my sleeve. I'm an old dinosaur. Never seen a zebra change its stripes. The solution. I hope he listens and heard that because it's a good life lesson. Embrace the change, my friend. The solution's here. Marshall, Norfolk, Stephen F. Austin, and Houston plus 10.5 for the solution. It's good to see you, solution. Blake M says, will AJ Brown reunite with Vrabel? I could see that. I heard Mike Evans and I heard the Cheetah are potential Buffalo Bills candidates. Scott Cope says, I love Stony Brook tonight. Blake M says Syracuse plus 20 for him. Kelly V says it's not good. Okay. Thanks, KV. Art, I will take you as a resident expert. Certainly wasn't meant to be. Kelly V says everyone's on Q's to agree, but no one said Duke has Michigan up next. Sandwich spot for Kelly V. That is some great insight from our KV2K. Very own KV2K. She got her own nickname on this chat. Hopefully one day we'll get her on screen to talk to you guys about some of her best bets. But I'm going to jump right in. I told you guys I'd give you some hockey plays. So listen, call me square. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. I can't see any way Germany loses to France. I should say I can't see any way France wins. How about that? I can't see any way that Italy beats Switzerland. And they're pretty big favorites. I like Switzerland. I would lay the -3.5 for Switzerland. I'm apprehensive about the -2.5 for Germany. I would take the under 6.5 in that game. I know France sucks, and it was a 10-2 beatdown from Canada, but it was Canada. And Germany can't get past 3 goals on the board. So it's set at -2.5 for a reason. So I would look at the under. I'm looking at the money line on Germany, parlayed with Switzerland. I like the Czech Republic, Czechia, whatever the fuck they want to be called, over Denmark. I do like the Denmark jerseys. I'm not some putz that's betting based on their jerseys here. I just don't like Denmark. And I'll tell you the thing that I don't like most about Denmark happens to be the U.S. hurt their goaltender in the third period. And it wasn't like an ugly Tommy Wilson style play. It was just fucking guy was getting shelled. I said this. I couldn't break down, I don't listen to a lot of other fucking pundits and shit like that, but I couldn't break down USA any better. They always start fucking slow. They dipsy doodle like a bunch of hot dogs. And then when they finally gas out the other team, they just put the belt to the ass. And so second period overs and their team totals make a lot of sense. Third periods, they find a way to backdoor cover the spreads out there. But that's what happened to Denmark. And Denmark's goalie was a great save. I mean, he was down. He was like kind of in the sitting in the chair position. And then a puck comes rebounding back and he like springs his leg out and kicks it. And I think he pulled his groin muscle. I didn't see what the extent of his injury was, but I would surmise that was the case. I don't like Czechia's offense from an NHL perspective. They've got a loaded squad. So I can't see, that's a tight one, which is why I would factor that into the parlay. I'd probably lean to the over 6.5 in that spot. And then I can't see Sweden losing to Latvia. Sweden, here's the thing I talked about yesterday on the live stream. It was so important for USA and Canada to get one of those two teams to get that top spot because look, if you're in the 2 spot, you got Sweden and probably Finland. That's a fucking tough run to get to the gold medal game. So if you parlay all 4 of those teams together, all the favorites, I know it's chalky and it's asshole. It's like -125, or at least it was this morning when I looked and said, yeah, I'll take some cash on this. Plus I like the fact that they're all done by 5:00 tomorrow. So that should all cash. They should all be in the bankroll. I gave you guys a full rundown of how I see this college or this Olympic hockey playing out with plays to get involved with here. I wouldn't lay -2.5 with Sweden. I would extend it to 3.5 because it's -160 on 2.5. So probably by morning time, it'll be -3.5 around -105. So if you bet that now, you can catch the best of the numbers and I'll finalize it. I'll come through and make some assessments and some player prop picks and all that other stuff. But just to give you guys some early looks, I can't get an adjusted line just yet on the Sweden side of things here, but Sweden should kick the shit out of them. So there you go. That's how I look at the Olympic hockey slate for tomorrow. Now, of course, when the women's plays come out, we'll talk about that too, but there's been a regime change here. Them U.S. women's girls are best in the world. So DJ Hardy says, you mean like Canada will put boot to ass to the USA in the men's final? I don't think so, DJ Hardy. DJ scumbag. I mean, I'm a homer in that spot. So there's no way I'd be about it. I'd fucking I'd burn my passport in my backyard before I fucking bet on Team Canada. And what are you going to do? You're going to have to bet like -3.5 to make any money in that game. You think that's going to happen? No. Fucking game ends by a shootout, probably. Jerry Davis says, Mikey, Mississippi Valley hasn't lost by margin in the last 7 games. Yeah. Did we start the trend? Wasn't it against, I can't remember who it was. It was like 2 weeks ago. I was like, I'm going to bet. It was the buy low spot. Like you can't get any lower. You've hit the rock bottom spot is what that was out there. Jerry Davis is thinking Wagner's team total under. And Joseph Meyer says, if anyone's going to get in a fight in the Olympics, it's Tommy Wilson. We already did. He already did get in a fight. You see how gutless Canada is, DJ Hardy. Not only were they cheating at curling, right? Like, contrary to what we talked about yesterday, there's no double touch in the rock. When you take your fucking finger off the rock, it's done. And I love that. Was it Sweden? Who was it there that repositioned the camera? Because they knew that Canada was cheating, right? And so they repositioned the camera so that they could get that special angle that showed he would release the rock. And then after he did this, a little shimmy in the other direction. Cheating motherfuckers. But what France did when the player fought, first of all, Tommy Wilson got rocked by that French dude. A Frenchman. I mean, this ain't Cyril Gahn, dude. That guy's not a fucking Foreign Legion. And he got busted up. I mean, he was so busted, I think he got concussed. He started trying to fight the ref. But that being said, the French suspended that guy for the rest of the tournament. Now, it's one more game, right? He's going to be gone for tomorrow's game against Germany. But there you go. There you go. That's my thought process. DJ Hardy, you want to bet 4 hoodies to 1? Is that what you want to do? I mean, we have to see what the line's going to look like. First, the USA has to get there, dude. I mean, in all fairness, I said it before. I mean, you got Sweden and Finland that potentially have to go through. That's not easy, man. It's not easy. But DJ Hardy says, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Jerry Davis says, Coppin State game win 2 in a row. Is that game over? Fuck. All right. That's what makes me a bad gambler. Because I want to play something in those games. You know what I mean? I'm going to live bet the under 147.5 in the Old Dominion game right now. Yep, 148.5. Even better. Fucking A. Damn. All right. Fucking A. South Carolina State. I'm not only going to drop 1, I'm going to drop 2 to kick the day off. That sucks. So I get for betting on shitbag teams. Even though I like betting on shitbag teams. Speaking of some shitbag teams, Morgan State 10-16 takes on NC Central. A MEAC game if I've ever seen one here. As we look at these spots, 6-2, Morgan State taking to the road. They're 5.5-point dogs. Now this line has moved a little bit. Buyer beware. It's moved down to 4.5. Publicly. Ooh, speaking of public, I'll share it with you guys in a momento here. But totals is the spot that I want to focus on because it's come down 5 points, even 6 now. 67% of the bets and 68% of the cash got in on the over on this spot. And tick, 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 it is moving its way down as far as 148.5. The big spot, the big opportunity that I looked at here, fucking pisses me off about SC Central or South Carolina State. Fuck them. Sometimes it takes me a second to reboot. That's all. That is all. Still mad about it though. Doesn't mean I'm not mad about it. I tried the makes me even more upset as I tried the asshole system. God, I bet on this game, let me double up this game. There's no way I start out 0-2. Anyhow, listen, unranked teams that come into the games with equal rest have shown their asses, and they have shown the unders. They come in rusty, or at least without the advantage on one side versus the other, and it tends to nullify things because they are middle of the pack when it comes to Averageville. And for that reason, I am looking at this game and saying, talk about Averageville here, and we're seeing the line come down against these boys here. Morgan State some people were looking at Morgan State early in the season thinking these boys might have a shot to do something in conference here. They have been ripping overs. Got to respect it, but they're going on the road as a dog. And so, yeah, they're covering on top of that. This line is sus. Why is a team that's ripping off 5 straight wins, 5 straight covers, 4 of their last 5 games have been on the road, and they're getting 5.5 points? NC Central's not form enough to demand and dictate that pace. So I would lean to the Morgan State side of things, including the money line, but I like the under in this game. I just thought 3 of the last 4 games on the NC Central side have gone under. If there's going to be a team that dictates the pace, obviously to me it says it's going to be the favorite in the NC Central side of things here. So I will take a poke, and I will align this, by the way, with sharp respected betting action. They're receiving the most sharp respected action from bettors. 2 games on totals today. One is Morgan State. Also, by the way, Morgan State is the most sharp respected betting side of things for exactly the reasons that I mentioned. But the under is the number 1 SRB side of things for the total. And the Ryder and Shart game, Ryder and Shart over 148.5 would be the second game. So I like Morgan State, but I'm going to lay the under. I think I got 150.5. Let me just double check. Nope, I got 149.5. 149.5 is my official play with a strong lean here to Morgan State. And I like the money line. What the fuck? Sprinkle it. Let's go on to game number 2 in college hoops. It's the Cuse. It's the Orange, man. Playing Dookie. Number 3 Duke. Big game here for Duke. 23-2. Probably. Where are we going to go on an island? It's going to be Virginia probably, right? Virginia and Duke to battle for the ACC. I mean, UNC, say what you will, but big injury over the last time Duke and UNC played each other. That to me just pushes them out of the window. So who's going to be left here? Duke's a 20.5 point favorite. I mean, a monster for a reason. And Cuse, if you look at Cuse's performance, the thing for me is bad scheduling position, because you look at this team, back-to-back overtime games. That's ugly. Now they've won both of them on top of that. They were both at home in the Dome. So they're going to take out to the road. And the last 2 times they went down in this neck of the woods, this nape of the way, they did cover. They have been covering. They've covered 5 straight times, but they've been getting busted up. So gone are any illusions of grandeur that maybe Syracuse can come in here and shock these boys. Duke has just continued to dominate. And I think they'll just continue to dominate the ACC. Probably a Final Four team. I don't see many upsets, at least early. It's going to be one of those tournaments where I'm pissed because it's all fucking favorites that move all the way down the board. And Duke probably plays Houston. We'll get to all of that when it comes down to it. But I think you got to look at this Duke spot and say, yeah, big spread for a reason. I look at the total in this game and I thought, surprise, surprise, I'm looking at the under. Now, that's not going to be the official play that I go with in this game. I'm just sharing with you guys that if I was looking for an opportunity, you'd have to consider the under here. Duke comes in 11-0 if they've got less than 5 days of rest in the regular season against a team coming off a win that averaged more than 44% shooting. In other words, their defense hones in and tries to focus on knocking those guys off their lanes. And of course, we're a better chance to do it than at Duke. They're 13-0 to the under. After a game, they recorded over 41% shooting. They're averaging 133.5 points a game in those spots. And then Syracuse, if they cover the spread in at least 4, this is a random anomaly for Syracuse, but if they've covered the spread in 4 straight against the, they cover the spread in 4 straight, they're 6-0 to the under. They get hot, I guess. I don't know. They're averaging 136 points in those spots there. So I do lean to the under in this game, but I will break this down into half and half. In other words, I'm going to take Syracuse in the first half. I got 12.5 points. And it's just, I feel like this is just too many buckets. Now, I think what happens to the Syracuse team, I talked about that under and their situation where they're coming off of back-to-back OTs and They were shooting very well. I just think that, we just talked about USA starting early and separating in the second half because they're just a better team. I think that's exactly the formula that we have when it comes to these two squads out there. So I like the 12.5, but there's also some system action behind it. So, to me, it's just a spot where it's like, hey, listen, don't worry about the full game. If you can get in and out of here and kind of show that Syracuse overall, one of the surprising spots that jumped out to me in the first half, they're actually a top 50 scoring team. They just gas out in the second half. So Duke should pull away late. I don't know that Duke gets the cover, but I think for all that aforementioned reason, I like to take the spot with Syracuse in the first half. I'll take the 12.5 with Syracuse as the official first half play. What say you guys about that? We need some wieners, not dogs. Okay. Jerry Davis is Dan Coppin State. I was on SC State, but flipped and did Coppin under teaser. Jerry, I think you get my plays and you just fade them. That's okay, though. Just moved a line on Colgate plus 6.5. Might be dumb, but Boston doesn't win by margin, says Jerry Davis. Partico de Gallo says, Mikey, we need some wieners. Jerry Davis teased Morgan plus 9.5 in the under. All right. I can get down with that. Plus 135 is a nice little price tag. Why not? Yeah, I think that looks good. I think that looks good, Jerry, for sure. All right, so let's go. Let's keep her moving here. I told you guys early in the season, one of the suspicions I had was that New Orleans was going to play to an over because they were one of the teams that was caught in the crosshairs of the point shaving allegations. Tony's flunking TV. 11-15 New Orleans, 9-8 in the Southland, and guess what? When you are of suspicion, you show up and you perform. Incarnate Word, however, 10-16 has had a lackluster at best season here in the old Southland. If you're not even mediocre in a mediocre conference, what are you? You're 0-9 when the spread's between the threes. I know that. That ain't building and boosting and instilling confidence in anybody. And that's what you see when you look at this side of things with these boys. I mean, look, 2.5 points. They're coming off of 3 straight losses. New Orleans comes into this one off a loss as well. The line is moving against New Orleans. Keep that in mind as you look at this game. But this one comes down to the battle. The battle. Did you guys ever hear the, well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Started 76% of the bets, 81% of the cash are on the New Orleans side of things. It's kind of moving against them. That 2 to 2.5, as I talked about. So that's a little bit alarming on the New Orleans side. Totals come down. As much as I like these teams being overs, well, at least New Orleans, it's come down to 154 with 57% of the bets and 58% of the cash coming in there to fade and reverse line movement. This puppy here, definitely of concern. Incarnate Word up. G, absolutely not. They're 1-4 in their last 5 games, both against the spread and straight up. And guess what? Here's New Orleans. Man, New Orleans is, so this has kind of made me nervous with the Incarnate Word side of things. When you put them between the pick'ems, they can't win. Like the threes, right, of a pick'em, like a last basket type of thing out there. And then you look at the New Orleans side of things, and they've covered 4 in a row, or 4 of their last 5. Plus 1.5, plus 1.5. They did lose to Rio Grande Valley, plus 1.5. Then they beat up Eastern Texas A&M fucking Commerce scumbags. Just keep get this fucking cop and go to overtime and let South Carolina State win, Jerry. All right. In any event, I don't want to be involved in the New Orleans business here on the road, especially on a Monday. Like, again, I've told you guys before, the shit travel spot is at Monday, especially in mid-major world out there. And Monday home favorites with low scoring edges are 40-12. So you have to look at this and say the team scores less points I reference this because this team was under the microscope, potential FBI indictments dealing with that there across the campus. And guess what? If they lose and there's just a hint of potential point shaving, they come back and fire the next day. So look for potential scoring there. But I just think I think that New Orleans doesn't find a way to get there today. I think this is an incarnate word spot. I don't mind the money line, minus 135. I took a minus 138. I lay the points if you'd rather be, a little bit less of the investment side of things here. I just want the win. I need to win. Twisted's in the house. Marshall versus South Alabama over 151. Incarnate word New Orleans under 156.5. There he goes. Alabama A&M and Alcorn over 138, and Houston and Iowa State over 134.5. That's my plays today. Numbers may be different now, says Twisted. I like Alcorn State in that Florida A&M game. Nothing I got to the window with. If you're looking for a grimy, degenerate money line play out there, let's see if we can put one of those together real quick, because I do like them. I do think, let's see. Morgan State sitting at plus 190. Shoot. You were the tough one. Got to really scrape in here to find some value on these guys, huh? Alcorn sitting at plus 102. Fuck. Well, it's 2 legs. It's 2 legs for a plus 485. Take that. Okay. Onward, upward. I'm going to take incarnate word. I got the money line. I know everything I said about this spot is like sketch. It's uncomfortable, and that's what makes me want to get involved with it. When it feels uncomfortable, it's probably right. And that's what they say when you're trying on a suit, when you're trying on a tuxedo, probably when you're trying on anything. If it doesn't feel right, it's probably right. But we'll see how this works out for us in the end. So that was just a little ad, by the way. I just threw $25 on it. Nothing crazy, but 25 will make me a little over 100 on Morgan State and Alcorn money lines. Just told you those money line plays. I'll practice what I preach as we go into Drexel and Stony Brook. All right. So I told you guys in the onset of this show that there is a bounce back opportunity, and one team has a bounce back special. That is Drexel. In the dog roll, I should have added them to the fucking parlay. Why didn't I do that? Why didn't somebody stop me? Why didn't somebody say, wait a minute? Now I'm going back to look. South Carolina State? You want to go to overtime? You want to go to overtime? Plus 420? All right. Plus 400? All right. Anyhow, 13-0, Drexel. Totals between 129 and 143.5, and their awful loss is a dog. That be against Stony Brook, boys and girls. I know some of you guys were looking at Stony Brook, but you need to be aware. One of the best bounce back teams in the land. 13-0 ATS. 8-0 straight up. 129 and 143.5. Just put them against a total under 47.5. 46 and 14. Them boys like to bounce back. They like to fire. And for that reason, I will take Drexel. I know we're going to be head to head. Some of us aren't going to be happy with the outcome of that game. Twisted likes Abilene Christian. Plus 100. I know why I couldn't find that, because Stony Brook's in New York. I know why that didn't make my card. It's all good. Shout out to Twitter being back online. If you guys are just getting into the Twitter side of things, come over to the Sports Money Network on YouTube. Never miss the action. We got shows going on throughout the day, live betting streams as well, shorts, quick breakdowns and analysis of games. Southern and Texas Southern here, the battle of the South and the SWAC. And I'll tell you right off the hop, it's not the play that I'm involved with, but SWAC teams like to go under when they're in conference play out there. And so lower scoring dilemma be what potentially we see here, which kind of makes it uncomfortable, but a high fucking total. Holy shit. I'll tell you, I mentioned the unders. I mentioned, the SWAC unders here. We've got the unranked teams with equal rest in play, but the SWAC unders against the conference are 8-2 in their last 10. So bear that in mind. Like I talked about Merrimack's, I don't know that. I mean, there's definitely a separation gap in the SWAC, but so I don't know that it's an auto bet to the under, but I know Southern U comes into this one. They've won 4 straight. I know Texas Southern's on a W, and this is where I think the separation between these two teams comes into play. You got a separation spot when you look at a team like Texas Southern. This line's moved from 2 to 4. And you want to fade Texas Southern when the total's over 137.5. You're 54-22 in those spots. They are not a pace and points team. They want to slow it down. They want to grind it out, and it doesn't work out for them more often than not. In fact, 54 out of the last 76 times, it has not worked out for them. So I will fade them in that dilemma, in that arena. I had to charge my vape the other day, and my fucking controller or my mouse. Uh-oh. What's going on here? Why am I frozen? Well, that's not good. I got a white screen on one side. I got a black screen on the other side. Uh-oh. Well, that wasn't good. Hopefully we didn't lose anybody on that one. Probably lost half of our audience in the process here, but hey, that's okay. Let me I don't know what the hell happened. Ever since this internet change took place, it's been just a fucking shit show. And I don't know. I'm not happy about it. Control the controllables. I'm going to take the Southern side of things here, and I've got the last game on the docket for everybody. I've got the one play all you need to do is make you tune to check us out for this one here, because I love see those Iowa State numbers here. We've got ourselves a top 10 battle here between Houston rolling on the road to take on Iowa State out there, and this is going to be a little of a battle for a bunch of people to figure out a side in this game here. We're still away from the side, but I'll tell you this, I would have to lean strongly to the Iowa State side of things here. These boys at home find a way to continue to dominate. They kind of had a little snafu to kick the season. They've rallied. They're 6-1 in their last 7. They've had some big wins out there, home and road, for this Iowa State side of things. But ultimately, I think the spot that we have to look at here is kind of reverse of where I like to be involved. That is the under. Surprise. When I say reverse of where I like to be involved, I mean, Houston's at home. I like to play their unders out there. We it done again the other day for us. Very excited to see some of these spots come through. But look, Houston comes into this one. They played K-State. They've been off unders. And what's been the success to their unders? They force turnovers. They're fifth best defensive turnover rate nationally. They defend the three. They body in the middle, and they shut you down on second opportunity. So you got to let your size and athleticism to at least match up with this Iowa State team here. The Cougars have allowed 70 points or fewer in 10 of 12 games, 65 or fewer in 8 of 12 games as well. And so, look, I think defensive efficiency, they rank fifth nationally, and they allow just 61.3 points. That's second lowest in all of college basketball. So you're getting cute if you try to thread the needle to the over in this game. And I can understand where it's like, I just want to be a complete contrarian. I don't care about all these numbers. They're due for the over, but you got to look at recency bias as well and form. 3 of the last 4 meetings have gone under. They've had 127, 110, 138 points. They had 110 points last year. It's a 68-59 Cougars victory. It's a bounce back revenge opportunity for Iowa State, one of our favorite spots in the land, but the under has to be the place you give some strong scrutiny to. Now, listen, I can get down with anybody that looks at the Houston side of things, and that's why I'm trying to stay away from the total. I told you I would lean to the Iowa State side of things here, but for me, it'd be remiss not to share with you some of these Houston numbers. And what it looks like when it comes down to this Houston side of things here is they do battle. They are in a position. I just don't want to have my fingerprints on that train wreck here. I just feel like this is one of those games. It probably comes down to a bucket and a foul at the end, and everyone's going to be jacked up and beyond themselves beside it here. But Houston's 12-0 against the spread. Totals under a 136. They had 14 turnovers or more in their previous game. So do you want to go out there and risk a Monday travel situation and play on Houston? Or you just want to get involved in what looks like 2 of the best defenses in the game? Take the under 134.5. Best number I could get out there earlier today. I think it's fair market value in a game that should be a pick 'em. We should see defenses reign true. So that's the way we're going to put the bow on the show, everybody. Good work today, despite my botchy internet. We are where we are. So that's the way we're going to do it. Good luck to everybody out there. Get that under in Houston. Get that Southern. Get that Drexel. Get that Incarnate Word. Get that under in Cuse. Get the first half Syracuse out there and take the under in North Carolina Central. Good luck. Godspeed. See you guys tomorrow.